Hi everybody, my name is Carlson-Wee. I'm going to be reading some poems to you today about mental illness and depression. I hope you don't get too depressed or mentally ill listening to them. First one's called Dear Bones, and it's after the poet Robert Bly. I felt the roof of my head break and clatter to the floor. I felt the particles dance in the empty and electric air, turning around in circles like plastic bags caught in a draft. I thought the river would swallow me whole, and the seagulls would never stop sailing away. Now the deer bones rattle on the bare wall. The night winds rest and clouds advance on clouds. Days fall back inside themselves like water. Now the river takes its color from the weeds, and my friends are half asleep in their anticipated lives, dreaming in the vain styles of their age, painting their childhoods over their eyes, walking the ribbons of highways like crows. Now my mind moves back to my father's Easter sermon, walking alone in the dark garden, lighting the trash cans on Division Street on fire, watching the fat police lumber to the flames. And my 13th birthday, setting off flares in the train yard, scraping my name on the rust-lined door. What became of those abbreviated years? Now they slump inside these passing days like sand. Now your face is hard to look at when you sleep. Your words become like putty in my ear. Now the cold hours wake me in the night. The oak leaves fall and linger in the wind. The swallows leave the shadow for the bridge, and the carp float dead in the metal grates below. So that one was about a time when I lost my mind when I was 22. And this next poem is about my grandmother who had Alzheimer's during the last 10 years of her life and slowly lost her memory, her sense of herself, and kind of everything that I remember her being. So this one's called Alzheimer's Unit. Now I forget what I wanted to say about hunger. The trees' sharp arrangement of lines on the white sky, clusters of off-shooting branches dissolving among them like outdated scans of the brain, faded by sunlight or disuse or whatever. I barely imagine by what. The gathering dust on the shoebox they wait in, filed away for a future appointment with some other specialist, talking of networks, compatible pathways, unsourced receptors, the closest approximate rate of attrition. They talk with the same sympathetic restraint used for death. We see the sterility first, the predictions unfolding in ribbons of uncharted highways beyond other skies. We use metaphors like this. We say the spirit is more than the critical mass. We say prayers are reflected in atoms, in snowflakes freezing, in magnified raindrops. We say there is no way of knowing the will, the hand held flat to the palm reader's always astonished tones. We say dreams, a series of blackouts, minor strokes. We say there is more than the body's measurable electrics, the forgotten children who stand at the bed rail, showing us pictures of speedboats and horses, our own selves posing with tulips and lilacs in front of our whitewashed homes. We say the soul, the outriding weather inside us, the downpouring water that runs from the mountain, that sleeps in the frozen beet field, that denies this hunger, that sings in the blood. So this next poem is about this time when I was living in San Diego. I had moved there, I was about 19, moved there mainly to skate, and I was trying to become famous, and failing to become famous. But we used to go to this skate park in this city called El Cajon, which is a suburb in eastern San Diego. And there are all these crazy ex-bikers there, mulleted dudes and kind of skid row types, people who checked out of some kind of drug or cultish culture in the 70s and are still hanging out there. You know, in Spanish, El Cajon means roughly coffin. But we used to go skate there, and there was one day when they found this boy's head, a decapitated head in a field, and nobody knew what had happened, why it was there, and nobody knew what had happened to the body. So it was something that really affected me and kind of disturbed me. But this poem is about that. It's called The Boy's Head. There was a year or two when none of it mattered. I woke up late, sat on the balcony porch with a cigarette, turned on the gaslight to scramble some eggs. Days seemed to flash and fold away like pages in a magazine. No one knew my name, and if they did, they didn't bring me up in conversation. I was living off the grid, you might say, in the gaudy retirement halls of the Mount Helix apartments. My hair fell down in complete abandon, swinging from eye to eye, usually tied in the back with rubber bands or with shoelaces somebody left on the curb. Nobody cared about my style. On weekends I went to the skate park in El Cajon and attempted to flirt with the girls. People came through, disappeared, made claims. The sun never altered its place in the sky. The floodlights came on and the Mexicans listened to boomboxes perched on the stairs. I was down there one day in September, a day like any other day, when a boy's head was found in a playing field, cut with a hacksaw, circled in little white stones. Local authorities said it was a gang thing, or a satanic ritual kind of thing. They said it was a product of organized crime, an underground collective, although no one really knew. The troubling part, to me at least, was that the boy wasn't even from town. He was on vacation with his parents from North Dakota, traveling by motorhome, headed for Zion and Flagstaff, Mount St. Helens, Vancouver, Rainier. For the first few days there was vague speculation, but no one came forward and no one was blamed. Weeks later, it seemed as though nothing had happened. The park flags waved in the same lacking breezes. The tennis balls hung in a chain link fence. The skaters continued to circle the bowl.